Y'all, what's good? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Before this video starts, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I have important message at the end of this video, and like always, I just pray that you all enjoy it. Let me know what you think. That's why I need you to comment down below. But enough of that talking, let's get into this video.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Y'all, what is good? Before we go about this post breakdown, I just want to give all my thanks towards my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm just truly beyond grateful to be in a position to have this skill set again, to give back to you all, because I know how bad you want it, and I'm doing it in a sense of not wanting anything but seeing you all win. I want you to know that whatever it is that you feel like you're struggling with, keep doing it, because if you're struggling right now, it is working on you as a person. And once that struggle stops, what happens after you stop struggling? You start rising, so just keep doing it, keep going. I don't care how hard and how bad it is, just work. The people who quit because it's too hard are the people who never will have more in their life, because anything that gets hard, they quit. Why do you think there's billion, million, multi-million, all these big people, right, that have a lot, and I say a lot with quotations because you have a lot in terms of worldly pleasures, right? But taking out the standpoint of the worldly wants, the worldly things that you go for, you gotta have something that's holding you spiritually. And that's why I always give my thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I would not be at a point where I'm at today, where I'm able to have understanding of certain situations, how to operate in certain scenarios, and really I will even have the clear thoughts that I have today with my walk, with my life, and again, how to communicate that with you all. So I just give him the praise. Again, just continue to work, continue to grind each and every day, not doing it for anybody. Sorry. And if you have reasons on what you're grinding towards, and those reasons again are not for yourself, but those reasons are to uplift somebody, is to get you out of a certain situation, is to get somebody else out of a certain situation. Use that to ignite something within yourself to keep you going, because when time gets hard and you think, I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for so and so, and as that time is hard right then and there, that thing that you're thinking of, allow that to push you to keep going. So today we're talking about NZD CAD. On NZD CAD, we're going to go into replay mode. So again, we're going step by step, play by play, everything. I'm giving it to you. So on the daily time frame, like you all know, we are breaking retest traders. So the daily and the 4 hour, we are only using to identify our structure. We mark off our zones off of the daily, and we enter off of 4 hour breaks of structure, the 4 hour retest of structure. That's all. Daily 4 hour are to mark off our structure and our zones. Simple. Entries are 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, and entries are just our bullish or bearish engulfings. So to continue, on the daily time frame, you can obviously see how we were trending in this upwards trend, and price had the break of that recent structure, and at the moment price was retesting that beautiful zone at 83,828. As we're retesting that zone, I always tell you I either want to see price bounce from my zone that we have marked off, but if price does not want to bounce from this zone that we do have marked off, and in this case breaks through, it is okay. Why is it okay? Because as long as we're still maintaining above my recent low, and we're maintaining in a sense below my higher high, we are still maintaining in this upwards trend. As long as we're maintaining in this upwards trend, the trade is still valid towards the upside. So after we broke through that recent area of interest, not stopping, not rejecting, but again, just going straight through. Our objective now is to find another zone where we can see price bounce from. So after this pullback was formed, that's when I went towards my 4-hour time frame to again identify my structure. So on the daily, we already know we are bearish. We already had the retest of our zone, which is great. Now the 4-hour is where I can mark off my minor areas of interest where we can see price continue to bounce from to go back towards the upside. Not only is the 4-hour already in this bullish trend, as you can see, giving me a break of structure, creating that minor area of interest at 83,916. As we created that, again, I want to see price tap back into its zone before I'm interested in taking a trade. Side note, the daily has to have a break of structure with the retest of its zone. And also the 4-hour has to have a break of structure with a retest of its zone. If neither time frames are retesting its zone but establish the break of structure, I'm simply not interested in this trade. Why? Because in order for me personally and my game plan to take a trade, I have to have a tap back into my zones off of the daily and the 4-hour. So in this case, you can obviously see how we broke that structure. Price then had that pullback, tapping back into its minor area of interest. And as we tap back into that minor area of interest, again, you can see how price continued to then close back below my major area of interest. This is okay. It's okay that we're below our zone. It's okay that we're not above the areas of interest, because like I said before, as long as we are still maintaining above my recent low and below that recent high, we are still in a uptrend. We are still maintaining structure and we are still respecting structure overall. So in this case, I have my daily that's bullish, I have my 4-hour that's bullish, both of them tapped into their zones. So that's already 4 confluences. And as we have those 4 confluences, I now want to identify a level of where I can see price bounce from, right? And that's where the 4-hour time frame is. So you can obviously see how we broke past our first area where I wanted to see price bounce from. Now we reached that second zone. When we form this second zone, not only did we form an area of where price is rejecting, but if I zoom out and I drag this area off towards the left, you can obviously see how this is still a respected zone that's treated as support, resistance, 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 and now potential support. I say this all the time. When you're looking for zones to see price react from, you want to make sure you have more than 2 touches. In this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches towards the zone. And that's really more than enough. This is a zone where price typically gets above, breaks through, retaps, and go, right? And when it's below, it gets below, it retaps and go, right? So it's a simple identify your areas of interest, and after you identify those areas of interest, trust your analysis and continue about your analysis. So after we marked that off of the 4-hour time frame, I then went back towards my daily time frame to see if this is matching up overall with some type of daily rejection. I want to see my 4-hour have some type of reaction from my zone, and I also want to see the daily have some type of reaction from this zone as well, right? So if we take a look, you can obviously see how price started to show reaction based off of that one bearish pullback, now closing below the zone, but also having this minor rejection that is now being established. So after we had that minor rejection be established, I also identified that not only is this 4-hour zone, being this blue box, is in line with my recent major area of interest. And if you take a look, we have this area of interest treated as support, support, resistance, 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 right? So it's a well respected area. And once again, I'm looking at zones that have more than 3 touches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The list goes on. I can zoom out if you want. 8, 9. Like, it is a well respected zone. Again, you mark it off and you continue about your analysis, trusting your analysis. So after we did that, after I was able to identify an area of interest off of my 4-hour time frame, and that area of interest off the 4-hour time frame was in sync with my daily time frame marked off structure, that was in my case a green light. That is a green light. If I have my 4-hour and my daily sharing that same area of interest while also showing signs of rejection, it's a green light to continue to look for our trade now. So after we formed this beautiful retest, I then waited until price was pre-London session. So my pre-London, even though it's not pre-London and it's still Asian, I look to enter my trades around 8 o'clock, which I already know is not going to move exactly when I get in, but pre-London session is around the corner, around 3 hours, and I'm okay with waiting, allowing my trade to play out like I tell you all the time. So I fast forward until 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock comes around. Not only is price now hovering where? Price is hovering below my major area of interest and also below that 4-hour zone. It's not something I want to see. I tell you guys all the time, if I'm looking to trade, I want to be above my zones. And since this is being my last marked off area of interest, and if I go back towards the daily, I'm sorry, I know it shows you the, beforehand, but as I go back towards the daily, that 4-hour was also below my recent low point on my daily time frame. So if my 4-hour is below that low point on my daily time frame, it's already an invalid trade for myself because we're not respecting my zone. And if we're not respecting that zone, we could possibly see something like this occur, the retest and the continuation, right? And so my thing was, after I saw price close like so, I was like, okay, that's cool. Again, we're still maintaining above my last recent low on that 4-hour, so we're still maintaining in this upwards trend. Only thing I want to see now, I want to see price get back above that beautiful 4-hour zone. So that's when I went down towards the 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, and as you can see on this 1-hour time frame, we have a beautiful resistance level, right? And also you can see how this 1 hour, we can mark this off, it went from bullish to bearish, giving me that break of structure. So now I say it all the time, before we are able to enter our trade, we want to at least see the 30, the 15 minute, or the 1-hour time frame. That was so just random how I just named that or listed that. So we either want to see the 1 hour, 30 minute, or the 15 minute time frame go from bearish to bullish, getting in sync with our higher time frame structure before we are ready to enter a trade. So in this case, you can obviously see how the 1 hour is bearish, and also we are not respecting that major area of interest. So I continue to drop down lower to again identify just a clearer structure level. In this case, I marked off that 30-minute zone being resistance, 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 and I wanted to see price get back above that zone. So if we fast forward and we're patient, you can obviously see how price breaks past that area of interest. But again, being in a car away from my setup and actually not even paying attention until price hit my alert that was around this area, telling me that we are breaking structure highs. So after seeing that, I then waited until we had some type of pullback to get established or to be established. And after we have that pullback get established, that's when I want to see my entry confirmation. So as price pulls back, not only do we pull back to that zone, but we also are respecting what? That major area of interest. If I go back towards the 1 hour time frame, again, you see how price attempted to close below, but being a strong area of interest, price opened and shot directly back towards the upside, closing above that major area of interest and also closing above my 4 hour area of interest. So after we had that, and then after price gave me that beautiful pullback to allow the retest to get established, I then waited for some type of entry confirmation. As you can see, where price is playing out, price is moving, boom, what happens? We get a beautiful bullish engulfing candle. I entered my position, I want to say on a pullback that was established. Give me a second. Boom, I enter my position on this beautiful pullback that was established. Like always, my stops are just below my last recent zone, that zone being my 4 hour area of interest, and then that zone also being close towards my major area of interest. Keep in mind, if price does go and hit my stop loss, not only are we just completely wrong about this trade, but we are now breaking back below that 4-hour area of interest and back below our daily area of interest, which is something I don't want to see. So if that is capable of happening, I want to get out of this trade as soon as possible, right? So that's why I put my stops just right here. And then targets, like always, we always are just targeting our next structure point. In this case, we're just targeting the 4-hour high that is also in sync with our daily high, right? And like I tell you all the time, once I enter my position, I'm no longer monitoring this trade. Why? Because I've already done my technical analysis, I've already marked off my zones, I've already found my entry. Everything is now lining up to the plan, right? I have my plan, I have my chart, I'm checking off my box with my plan, I'm checking off my box with my chart, I'm saying you and you are met, you and you are met, you and you are a match. Everything is matching up, so therefore now we allow the trade to do what it needs to do to either reach my profit zone, telling me, hey, your analysis was correct, you did a good job, or hitting my stop loss, saying, hey, your analysis was wrong on this pair and you lost this trade, which is fine. You're not going to win every single trade. So after we entered our position, I say it all the time, I'm now no longer looking at my charts. And since we're no longer looking at this chart, what happens? Price does an amazing job at not even getting us in drawdown. Look at this. After we found that entry point, we never had drawdown. Price just went directly into profit. So not only did price go in directly into profit, but price also hit targets with ease. Look how beautiful price is just moving. And price does, think about this, right? If I monitor my trade and we see this huge pullback coming all the way back towards our entry points, you're going to have all type of emotions telling you to get out of this trade. You're wrong. Close your position. Why? The trade's not even fully hit your take profit. You didn't even see price get to the zone where you wanted to see price get to. Why would I close out here and you wouldn't close out if you was in red? Let that soak in. So that's what I always say, get into your position, go away, allow the trade to do whatever it needs to do to either hit your profit or hit your stop loss. Either you are 100% right about your analysis or you're 100% wrong about your analysis. You cannot control the markets. Allow it to do what it needs to do to either reach your profit level or reach your stop loss. At the end of the day, you continue to apply the same strategy that wins more than it loses, and you go about your day. It's trading. You cannot control the market. So a lot of people definitely would have closed after seeing this huge pullback, get back below, well, back towards their entry points just based off of fear. But the more skilled, the more professional trader knows that this is just price having a retest on the lower time frames. If we go down towards the 1 hour, you can obviously see how price has that retest, it breaks through, has that retest of where areas of interest. Again, this is just another marked off zone that we can see price bounce from. Not only is it my major area of interest, but it's also rejecting my minor area of interest. Why am I closing? Why am I closing? My 4 hour is still bullish. If we go and take a look, 4 hour, we're still bullish. We're still maintaining above my recent lower low, well, higher low, and we're still in this beautiful upwards trend. So why would I close? My daily, what's going on with the daily? The daily is still bullish, still maintaining above. So why would I close? I tell you guys all the time, the higher time frame outweighs that lower time frame structure. So if my lower time frame, such as the 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, the entry time frames are bearish and my 4 hour and my daily are still bullish, it is okay. Hold the trade. Like, if the 4 hour did not break structure, we're okay to take this trade. I told you, the daily and the 4 hour are the only two time frames I want to see in sync before I scale to the lower time frames to find my entry. If I find my entries on the lower time frames and my lower time frames are bearish, that's simply just out of my game plan. I told you all, I want to see a switch from bearish to bullish in order to enter the position on the lower time frame. But as I am in my position and price goes from, I can go to the lower time frame to show you an example, and say if I am in my position, right, and as you can see, we went from bearish to bullish, we found our entry, price continued, If I'm in this position and I see something like this, price gives me what? A break of structure. Why am I closing? I'm closing based off of a 15-minute break of structure. Again, if we base it off of that 15-minute break of structure and I go back towards my 4-hour time frame, is the 4-hour having a break of structure? Are we still in sync with the daily time frame? So why am I closing based off of a 15-minute break of structure? I don't care about the 15-minute. That's my entry time frame. I told you all, the daily and the 4-hour is where I'm getting my overall trend, my overall zones from. The 15-minute, 30, and the 1 hour is just entry time frames. I'm not really worried about what's going on after I get into my trade. So again, allow the trade to develop, allow the trade to do what it needs to do to, again, reach targets or hit your stop loss. Either you trust your analysis or you don't. You decide. Like, you're the one clicking the button. And if you're going to close based off of this retracement, look at what you left on the table. An extra 33 pips. And I don't even measure pips when I'm taking a trade. I measure my percentage. So you, if we unlock this, say you closed here. You closed at a 1% gain. You left 2.5% left on the table based off of fear that you had, based off of the self-doubt that you had in yourself. Have faith in your analysis. Trust the analysis that you just broke down. Trust the strategy that you've been practicing day after day, time after time, week after week. You've been doing the same thing for so long that it should not worry you if this trade goes wrong. Why? Because you're going to come back next week and do the exact same thing because you know your strategy works and you know you cannot control the market. Only thing you can do is control your emotions and trust your analysis. Simple as day. So because you trusted your analysis, now you win a beautiful trade for a 3.5% gain. An amazing trade, simple breakdown, and is a simple way of going about looking at the charts. Yo, so I had to interrupt the video. I forgot to call this out or post this, not even call it out, but I forgot to post this because I do post each and every trade that I take in my Discord. The before, the middle, the after, everything I do, I post it in my Discord. So on 8/26 at 3 p.m., you can obviously see how we called out Euro GBP and NZD CAD for both our trade ideas. And for NZD CAD, you can obviously see how we are expecting the same thing. If I fast forward, how we were expecting that same thing, how we just broke down, right? You can obviously see the retest. I want to say I drew it out. You can see we had that resistance line drawn out. We have the break, the retest, and the continuation, which we were looking for. And then, like you all know, if I go back, I have the updates at 9 p.m. This is when I was talking about how I was in the car, but in the car away from my setup, and I was not able to take the trade setup how I wanted to. You can see how price broke out, hitting my alarm. That was this dotted line. After price hit that alarm, this is when I said I'm not in this trade, and I showed you, I forgot I showed you, I'm in the back seat of the car on the way to the house. But I am anticipating the pullback like I talked about in the video, and you can just see just everything happened beforehand. Everything really happened live in a sense. And you know, the next day, or not that next day, but that following night when we got back, that same night when we got back to the setup, you can see how price was forming the retracement, which again we talked about is something I wanted to see. I told them when we got into this trade, we got in at 10 o'clock, but I did not send it out because after I got in, like I tell you all the time, I don't monitor my trade, I go right to sleep. So I went to sleep. You can obviously see we are now in that position and price is moving nicely in our direction. Again, updates like always are posted. You can see how we are closing in on targets. I did close my trade early at this dotted line, well, at this box right here, just due to rejection. I should have held, but it is what it is. I secured, I want to say 2.5% closing it right there, so I'm still happy with that. Anything above 2% in return, that's what I look for. Was able to do that, and then again I dropped those updates letting everybody know that overall targets were reached. So amazing trade, amazing thing that we do each and every week in the Discord. I do have a signal room that is not open just yet, just getting the practice of calling out my trades and stuff like that. This is how we are performing, but I post everything. I love the Discord community. The people I have in here are very they're like family in a sense. They trusted me. I'm gonna give you everything I know, and I'm gonna make sure that if you do not understand, we hop on a call, we hop on Zoom calls, and you get the understanding. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in here. Do not click off the video just yet. I do have an important message I do not want you all to miss, so stay tuned for that message right after this. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Continue to practice, continue to work. You will not be able to trust yourself without putting in work. You have to see this stuff happen for yourself over and over and over again until you have an understanding on why certain things are happening. If you're just getting in based off of somebody else's input, fam, that's not gonna work in the long run. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Actually, I'm not even sorry, because you gotta realize that, and I should even be the one telling you. So again, I pray that you all enjoyed this. I pray that you all continue to work on your craft. Without work, there will be no success. As simple as day. You don't get lucky, and if you do get lucky, you're gonna lose it. Why? Because you didn't prepare yourself for it in the first place. You can be ready, or you can be prepared. Are you ready to take a test? You can always be ready to take a test. You show up, sit down, you got a pencil, they gave you a paper, you're ready. But are you prepared to take this test? Have you studied? Have you looked over instructions? Have you put in a time and effort to reading the books, doing the problems, understanding which problems are which, and understanding how to figure out certain situations? Now I'm prepared, because I know if you throw me a curveball, I already know how I'm gonna figure it out. I'm prepared. I'm not just ready, I'm prepared. It's the simple stuff. But hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all in the next breakdown. Until then, peace.